Welcome to the Wealthy Speaker Podcast. This is the podcast dedicated to people who want to speak more as a way to build their income and grow their business. Well, welcome everyone to the Wealthy Speaker Podcast. I'm Jane Atkinson, your host and the founder of Wealthy Speaker University. Now, today's show is brought to you by the Wealthy Speaker Business Acceleration course. This is a 12-week online course that we offer for emerging speakers. So if you are just starting out or maybe don't have everything in place, you've been around a little while and you're circling back, I always say that's kind of like a deep dive on all things wealthy speaker. Everything from picking a lane to negotiating fees to technology and systems. There's so much great juicy content in there, and we keep adding and massaging and making it better and better and better. I'm super proud of this course, and the people who run through it come out of the gates really swinging. So very excited about that. Come on over to wealthyspeakeru.com, where we'll walk you through all of the different elements of the program, but also your options. You now have a do-it-yourself option, a group coaching option, and a group coaching plus, which offers you some private coaching as well. So lots of different options for you there. We have a lot of people who have come through our program are now out on the road, and they are traveling, and staying healthy while on the road becomes a fairly large issue, which is why we have invited John Ayo to be on the call today. Welcome, John.
Thanks, James. Great to be here with you.
John's coming to us from Dallas. Let me just read your bio for everyone, John, so they know a little bit about your background. John Ayo was a sales leader for IBM, where he led the team that closed the largest software deal in the history of IBM, worth over $1 billion. Yes, that's a B, dollars. Wow, that's interesting. We'll have to talk about that. He moved into sales training, where he traveled to over 26 countries and then transitioned into an obsession with health after having some of his own health challenges. John is a recovering overachiever, perfectionist, and black belt in Aikido, and is now living his passion as a natural health doctor, and is the author of a book called Travel Balance that shows travelers, that's you people, how to stay balanced while on the road. So helping us get travel balance, please join me in welcoming from Plano, Texas, John Ayo. Welcome, John.
Thank you. Thank you.
I'm so happy to have you on the show because I know that road warriors, and you've been a road warrior in your previous life. I know that they need some help from you. But first, why don't you fill in the blanks a little bit and tell us a bit about your career and what about that $1 billion deal? That sounds very intriguing to me.
Well, it was very interesting. It was a very long sales cycle, and at the end, we get a little bit of money and some people clapping. But inside, I was just like, I'm not feeling fulfilled, and I'm asking, what am I supposed to do? What am I supposed to do? And the answer was, I got sick. Not what I expected. So that led me on a path to go down the world of natural health, because I got fascinated with it. My little engineering brain turned on, and lo and behold, I found my passion in that and helping people.
Wow. So we call that the cosmic 2x4 upside the head. And, first you get like a little tap on your shoulder, and then it's like a light smack on the head. And then if you're not listening, it's the big one. Did you feel like that had to happen? Which one of those happened to you before you really sat up?
Boy, I don't know. This wasn't the first event that kind of pointed me in this direction that it was supposed to be here. So maybe it was a couple of light taps before, but I definitely got it on this one. Mm-hmm. And it's been quite a journey since.
Oh, wonderful. So tell us about your do you have a practice today in health?
Yeah, so in Plano, I have a practice today as a naturopath, and I see clients and I do biofeedback to help them with high levels of stress and anxiety. And I work with folks all over the world.
Beautiful.
To do that.
Beautiful. Okay, so having been to doctors of every way, shape, and form, I'm very familiar with naturopaths. And I think what you can relate to with the road warriors that are out there speaking, say, if they're doing even 70 engagements a year, that's double or triple that in terms of time away on the road. So
Right.
these people are living on airplanes and they're bags going down, hotel hallways at late in the night. Let's kind of talk about how people can, before, during, and after a speaking engagement, what are some things that they need to do? So let's just talk about like kind of everyday life. What are some
Okay.
things that people can be doing to maintain and gain better health?
Well, the tricky part about all of this and the foundation of almost all chronic illness is stress. So the theme throughout all of your travels is going to be, what can I do to reduce stress before,
Mm,
during, and after? Because there's
okay.
so many things that happen to us that we can't control. We want to focus on the things that we can, right? So in general, we want to do things that help us to relax. So if it's walking for you, or it's yoga, or it's swimming, or whatever it may be, we've got to figure out, how do we do that before? If you can do it during, that's great, but it's pretty difficult for most people. So we got to find out some alternatives when we're traveling.
Oh, that's really interesting. So you're making me think already. You've already given me an idea for a point. So let's say you're in the middle and it becomes a very stressful travel day. And your flight is delayed by 4 hours. I mean, you really can't control that very much.
Right.
So maybe you take action and you have a plan of what you're going to do in order to control your stress in that situation.
Right. So one of the main things that I would never leave home without is noise canceling headphones, like many people.
Mm-hmm.
So put on the music that helps you to calm down. And then the next best thing you can do is exercise. So you get up and you can sit at the gate there and you can stew with other people, or you can get up and just go walk. Now, you
Mm-hmm.
don't want to miss any information that comes, flight announcements, but just get up and start walking with your headphones on and get some exercise going and get the nice tunes helping you to calm down. And don't forget, Jane, we got to breathe. That's the foundation. And we often forget that first.
Mhm. Okay, so breathe and listen to some good tunes on your noise canceling earphones. I think that is very, very good advice. On a day to day level, so you talked about yoga, and I know you go to hot yoga. That's where I cut my teeth on hot yoga, was actually at Bikram Yoga in Dallas. Those people were
Mm.
very, very intense. that, that is not like the peaceful yoga you think one would be doing. But anyway, they used to yell at you. But so, what are some things that you do to just walk us through what your day might look like at home on a home day, a non-travel day, just to know what the optimum health might look like for you?
Well, as you hear often, gratitude is the key. So I start off in the morning with just some gratitude and thoughts on what I'm thankful for, and then what I want to set the intention for the day. So starting off in peaceful time. So I'm listening to music a lot, and I always listen to nice peaceful music, and my kids make fun of me, but that's okay. So I always start off with that, and then I get my work done. The food we eat has a big impact as well. If we're eating things that are not so good for us, it's going to impact our stress, because on a physical level, you're stressing out your body by putting in food that's not in harmony with it. So if we can eat healthy to start off our day when we're just at home, that's going to be good. And then, some kind of exercise. It doesn't have to be go to the gym every day, because that's hard to do, but get in something. Walking at the very least is just foundational. And the other thing, we're going to come back to this one, I know, when we talk about jet lag, is just getting outside.
Hmm.
We don't do that very much these days. And we grew up in a space where we were outside a lot. And it's really important just for our mental well-being to be in nature. Even if you just go in the backyard and stand on the grass. It's called
Mm.
earthing. Big deal.
Oh, so there's an actual word for that, earthing. I like it. I like it. I want to circle back to something that you just mentioned, because I have, you mentioned two things that are in our Wealthy Speaker Daily Success Planner and Journal. You start your day off with a very focused intention and with gratitude. We have those both built right into the journal, and I really notice it when I miss it. It's something I think having a certain start to your day every day that gives you grounding is so incredibly important. So,
Absolutely. Couldn't agree
so
more.
incredibly important. You were talking about going outside. I remember I was in Dallas actually when 9/11 happened, and I was, after being inside the house watching TV 24/7 for about 3 days, because they sent us home in downtown Dallas. They sent us home. They evacuated, and we all had to come home. And so I think it was at least 3 days I was inside. I just finally went out and went for a walk around. I lived on White Rock Lake, and that was incredible in terms of changing my mindset. I was like just in this massively, funky place, as everybody in all of North America was. And just going outside just made this world of difference. It's incredible how the earth can ground you like that. So I remember, John, I was living in Dallas when 9/11 happened, and like everyone was devastated, and we were evacuated out of downtown Dallas. So I think for 3 days, I was just glued to the television, bawling my eyes out. And finally, on day 3, I went out and walked around White Rock Lake. That's where my house backed onto. And I walked around the lake, and it changed my perspective so dramatically. So I think when speakers are living inside hotel rooms, they get to the hotel, they work in the hotel, and sometimes between airports and hotels, they're not really getting outside very much. That can be quite detrimental, don't you think?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, we're supposed to be connected to this planet, and we have done a good job of disconnecting ourselves, rubber-soled shoes, because we're electrical. And, when we don't discharge that electricity into the earth, it impacts our health and our stress. And actually, that's one of my top secrets for jet lag, is to make sure that you get outside with bare feet on earth wherever you go at your destination.
Ooh, okay. So is there, like, how long are we meant to do that? What if we're arriving to snow? Then what do we do?
You do the best you can, right? Depending on where you're going, if you're in the U.S., you could buy a grounding mat, carry that with you. You can plug in a grounding mat and actually use it at home or in a hotel. It plugs into the little ground plug in an outlet, and you can do that. But if you're in the snow, if you can get out there just a few minutes, it'd be good. But if you're on grass, 15 to 20 minutes would be really nice if you could do that.
Bare feet. I did not know, and I should have known. I've had the ion things going on my feet and all kinds of stuff done to me, so I should know that
Right?
this is possible. That makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
Okay, so you said that about jet lag. What else about jet lag? Is there anything that we can do that can help us get through it more quickly?
Well, we talked about the foundational message throughout all of the traveling and through life is the stress. The second one that's probably, right up there is water, drinking a lot of water. And so jet lag is a huge symptom of dehydration. So we need to drink a lot before, during, and after the flight, which means, you got to get up and go to the bathroom a lot, but then you get your exercise in and you get to visit other people. So water is a big one as well. And then the other one that's a key is syncing your brain into that destination time zone as quickly as you can. So I just kind of have a deal. As soon as I step on that plane, when I'm leaving from Dallas to go to London, which, American owns me because I live in Dallas. So anytime I go to Europe, you go through London, right?
Okay.
So I get on the plane, and as soon as I get on that plane, I immediately shift to London time. I don't even look back. It's all right. 6 hours, just zap by.
That's it. You're done. So, you and when you arrive, then talk about your sleep and what have you. How do you shift that way?
Well, as we know, when we're flying from, toward the east, when you're flying to Europe is one of the most tricky, at least coming from Texas. So if you can get to your hotel before 11 a.m., then you can take a quick nap, no more than an hour. But if it's after 11, you really need to stay awake until 9 p.m. those first 2 nights.
Just
You
start
got to
your
make
day.
it. You got to go walking. You got to do, for me, I don't even drink coffee because I'm already an Energizer bunny, but
Right.
I drink coffee on that day and just do whatever you have to do. You don't want to go back to your room at like 6 or 7. Oh, I'm just going to lounge, watch a movie. No, you're not. You're going to go to sleep and you're going to screw up your next few days.
Okay. All right. That's good. Okay. So now talk about, you said something about getting sick on day 2 of a 10-day road trip.
Yeah.
That does not sound like it's much fun. And I have had clients, speakers who have a barf bucket on the side of the stage for them just in case they need it. And that is a wicked, wicked situation. Talk
It's
about
not good.
getting sick. Yeah.
Yeah. So definitely, and my tagline is I've lived it so you don't have to.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not like I made that up, right? I actually have done that. So you get out there on day 2, going to China, and you start feeling the scratchy throat, and I'm coming down with something. No, this can't happen. Well, you've got to make sure you have stuff with you. So I pack a whole bunch of supplements. I use essential oils and whatever you need to use to boost your immune system. Got to pack ahead. I always pack and hope I never have to use it. But boy, when you need it, it's awesome. So the big key thing, and here's a super secret for our speakers out there.
Okay.
That's a super secret.
Super secret.
Is if you feel like you're getting sick, you have to avoid sugar, dairy, and wheat and anything that contains those. So if you're out and about and, I'm just going to have a light breakfast, I'm just going to have a bagel with a little cream cheese, right, and a cup of orange juice,
right.
It's like throwing gas on the fire, and you'll get sick really quick.
Sugar, dairy, and wheat. Okay.
Things that have sugar, dairy, and wheat. And so pizza and beer, I'm just going to have pizza and beer tonight because I'm not feeling well. It won't go well the next day.
Not good.
So lots of
water.
What
about red wine? Rick, tell me, what is it medicinal in all situations, John? I'd really like to think it is.
Well, sure. If you'd like to think it is, then it is.
Power of the mind, right? The power of the mind.
Of course. Yeah, when I was going through my challenges, I would go to my natural health docs and I'd say, you mean really I can't eat pizza? And they go, John, you can eat whatever you want and it's not going to hurt me at all. I'm like, oh, man, they got me.
Yeah.
Yeah. So red wine is, one of my favorite. If I'm going to drink something, that's probably what you'll see me drinking, but not too much. Okay. But, we have to live in balance. That's the balance part of
it. I think when you get onto that third glass, that's when it starts to alter your sleep pattern, right? And it messes up your sleep, and then you really aren't doing yourself any favors. Just for fun, tell us what is in your essential oil goodie bag that you travel with. What all are the things that you like to take with you on the road?
Right. Well, I use the Young Living brand of products. So they have some blends that I use that are really, really potent for immune system support. Okay. One called Thieves, and there are others that are out there.
I know Thieves. That's got a really neat smell. Yeah, I like Thieves. Yeah. And what about that other one that tastes really horrible? That doesn't narrow it down for you, dude.
That doesn't narrow it down.
Oil of oregano. What about that?
Oh, my God. Incredibly potent. So, oregano's in Thieves.
Okay. Yes.
And it's, that's a potent one. So if you feel like you're getting sick, you can just do a couple drops of Thieves and drink it, and it'll really help knock out a lot of things. And then there's another one called Energized for digestion that has saved me many times, especially when I go to like Mexico. It's a big one. And if you don't have these things, and there are a lot of oils that can help with helping to relax, and then immune system support, and then you can put them on topically for pain for certain things. So they're very, very powerful and worth exploring for the speakers that have not looked into that, into that world. But if you don't have that stuff with you and you're just at the hotel and you're not feeling well, one of the things you can do is go to the restaurant and just get a clove of garlic. Now, you're not going to be popular with the other folks, but if you'll suck on that clove of garlic, it'll knock out a lot of issues if you feel like you're getting sick.
Oh, and what if your ears are bothering you? I think I've put garlic in my ears before, drops of garlic, not the actual cloves, but garlic drops before in my ears. Is that right?
Yeah, there are some drops you can do. There's not a lot of things you want to put in your ear. You have to be careful with your ears. But you can. If you bring those with you, that's something that you could do. There's also people that put hydrogen peroxide in their ears, and that can help as well as a natural remedy.
Is there any truth to covering the back of your neck with a scarf when you're on the plane?
Well, it helps. Just from a circulation perspective, it's going to keep warmth back there. But that's not one of the things I've done on my list, but that certainly would be a worthwhile.
What about airplane air, the turning on the vents? I sat next to a microbiologist once, and she scared me.
I turn the vents on, but I don't point it at me. I point it in front of me, so it just kind of blows the air. We don't have a lot of control over the air on the plane, but I will tell you it's incredibly dehydrating. So back again to the got to drink a lot of water.
Water, okay. Okay, that's really good. Did we talk yet about how to, like your morning routine of kind of waking up on game day and anything for the voice? What are some things that we might do on the morning of engagement?
Well, of course, resting your voice is a good thing. So that long conversation with your friend before you go on is not a good idea. Drinking hot liquids is usually good. So I drink hot tea, some kind of herbal tea, put some honey in it. If you can get the real honey and not just the sugar honey, is very beneficial. And in general, when you go to speak, drinking ice water is not going to be so helpful for you for your vocal cords. So drinking warm things is helpful, and honey.
Okay.
And there are herbal sprays you can get as well for your throat to just kind of help soothe things.
Okay. And then would you get up early and exercise on the morning of a big thing that was going on, or do you save your energy, or how do you think about that?
I'm usually a save my energy kind of guy on those days. So again, back to the getting sick part. That's not the time to be exercising. You want to let your energy reserves help you to heal. And in this case, you want to keep your battery as full as possible. Some people do. Some people are more energized by exercising. I, again, walk, and usually when I'm at a hotel, I try and stay on the 8th floor or below, and then I will just walk up and down the steps. So there's my exercise, is just walking down and meeting with people.
Okay, I like that. So, I want to dive into a different area, just in overall health, and this is my own personal desire to know what your thoughts are on various things. So, what would you recommend to the majority of your clients to steer clear of it, just in general, on a day-to-day basis? I'm a little confused right now about grains. I've been gluten-free for quite some time, but now I'm thinking about going all grain-free, and I'm kind of confused of what that means. So what do you normally advise for your clients in terms of just being healthy overall?
Yeah, the sugar, dairy, and wheat thing really kind of plays in. When you look at like the gluten free, I've studied that quite a bit. I'm not so sure it's the gluten as much as it is the Roundup or the glyphosate that is sprayed on that. Because there are people that are super sensitive, and yet when they go to Europe and they eat the wheat there, it doesn't seem to bother them, which is very interesting.
And I'm not, I would say I call myself gluten
Oops,
light.
so overall, we talked about the sugar, dairy, and wheat before, and really it's a good idea to kind of minimize those things. When you look at gluten and the wheat, I'm not so sure it's the gluten as much as it is the glyphosate or the Roundup spray that's on our wheat. Because we have people and clients that go to Europe and they eat it and everything seems to be okay. So I'm not really sure. Part of the challenge we have with grains is the way that they're stored. And so these large, big grain elevators tend to be fungally contaminated. And that's one of the things I've studied quite a bit, is the impact of fungus on the body. And it's pretty vast. So in general, I tell people in moderation on the grains, but be careful, especially the corn and the wheat. Those two specifically can be challenging for many.
Okay.
Sugar in general, if you can avoid that, is a good idea. And of course, filtered water. So we talked about water earlier. Let me qualify that as
Okay.
filtered water.
Filtered water.
So so like if you're on the plane and they are serving, coffee and tea, that's probably not made with filtered water. So you got to be careful because it comes from the tanks in the plane, which have been challenging. But in general, you're just asking overall about, health. It's a balance of a whole bunch of different things, Jane. There's no one thing, but, our bodies are designed to eat fruits and vegetables. And so the more of those that we can get, the better, obviously. And we've got to get some form of omega-3 fats in our body from either fish oil, krill oil, or flax or something like that.
Right.
So foundationally, we need that either in food or supplement form. And so that's kind of the big picture view. Is that what you're asking about?
Yeah, for sure. I'm confused about popcorn. Is popcorn considered corn? I don't know.
I don't want it to be any more than you do, because I have an air popper and I love to air pop it, and I melt ghee on there and I put this pink sea salt and it's awesome.
That
In
sounds good.
moderation, if you don't have a lot of health issues going on, in moderation, I think it's okay. So
I
we'll
do
pretend that it's not corn.
I do a little bit of coconut oil in with butter. That's probably not very good, but
Okay.
I'm
Oh
glad that
no, coconut oil and butter are great.
really? Okay, good.
Yeah,
You're making me feel better.
absolutely.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, I want to thank you so much, John. Is there anything else that we should be telling people with regards to staying fit and healthy on the road?
Well, again, the main thing is just stress, and planning ahead is probably the biggest thing. So when I was traveling a lot, I would have a super checklist that I built, and I know a lot of people have them. Really encourage it because it makes packing a lot less stressful. And then you just check off all the things that you need to do on that day, keeps those stress levels down. Planning ahead to the best of your ability is all you can do, because there's so many things that happen outside of our abilities
Right.
to control it. So
I
that's a
love
big deal.
I
So
love that. Checklist for sure. Let's talk about where people can go and get your book, Travel Balance. That sounds fantastic. It sounds exactly like what a professional speaker might need.
well, thank you. It's on my website, travelbalance.net. You can click there. It's also
Right.
which links to Amazon. And
Great.
so, I wrote the book originally for someone, like a speaker. Hey, I'm getting ready to go to Istanbul for 2 weeks, John. What do I need to do to stay healthy? So I wrote it conversationally and sequentially from the beginning to when you get home.
I like
Guess
that.
how getting home or getting to the hotel ends, Jane? You're never going to guess.
How?
Gratitude. Just, we got to be thankful. When we land, halfway around the world and get to that hotel bed, it didn't have to be that way. So you got to be thankful that you made it and that you're in one piece and that we have the ability to do that. It really is amazing.
I like it. That's a great way for us to finish out on. We will put the link to your book in our show notes, and it's with gratitude that I would like to say thank you to our speaker, John Ayo, and thank you so much for all of you listening in, Wealthy Speakers. We are so glad that you've been tuning in to the podcast. I've been getting a lot of really, really lovely comments and feedback back. Give us a rating and a review, and we'll see you soon, Wealthy Speakers. Bye for now, everyone. Thanks for listening to the Wealthy Speakers Show. Please visit speakerlauncher.com for your free Wealthy Speaker audit, and visit speakerlauncher.com/podcast for show notes and many more resources to help you catapult your speaking business. See you soon, Wealthy Speakers.